Welcome home, man.
Visit elmhurst.org to explore the new City of Elmhurst website. Find out the latest Elmhurst news, pay utility bills and parking tickets, report concerns, and much more. Elmhurst.org is an ideal way to discover what Elmhurst offers your business, your family, your life.
Since 1918, there have been Memorial Day parades in Elmhurst, Illinois, since the close of World War I. That makes 93, and that's this year in 2011. I'm Ken Bartels from the Community Bank of Elmhurst, and along with my partner, Tony Cazzone from the City of Elmhurst. And Tony's on the planning committee, and Tony, it must make you very proud to have all the planning come together and then get a gorgeous day on top of it.
Ken, you're absolutely right. You know, normally our history has been with the weather that on Memorial Day it always rains, either later in the day or even sometimes on the parade. But we have a beautiful day today in Elmhurst. Temperature almost 90 degrees, blue skies, and it makes everything come together much better when you see the parade, the fruition of our efforts. It makes it worth it. But it's also a day that we all know for us to remember all of our veterans, those that have given their lives and those that are still fighting for us because we are still at war. We appreciate that, and today is the day that we honor all of those people.
So the theme is always remember, as it always is. So enjoy the 2011 Memorial Day Parade on Elmhurst, our kind of town. Memorial Day Parade for 2011. That was the Color Guard, accompanied by the American Legion Post 187 and the Veterans in Foreign Wars Gloss Post number 2048, followed by Elmhurst Police Chief Steve Neubauer. I'm Ken Bartels, and my partner Tony Cazzone and I are pleased to bring you this 2011 Elmhurst Memorial Day Parade, and we're just getting underway here at the reviewing stand at Wilder Park.
And it's a beautiful day today, Ken. Temperatures are supposed to get near 90. We have nice blue skies. Beautiful day for a parade here in Elmhurst.
It really is. And in typical Illinois fashion, Tony, 59 to 99
Absolutely.
in a day. So we'll just we'll sit back and enjoy what God gives us.
Absolutely.
And today it's a beautiful day.
This is our window of opportunity. Rains yesterday, and apparently rain's coming in again tomorrow. So we have a wonderful opportunity today to honor all of our vets.
The 93rd Annual Elmhurst Memorial Day Parade banner being carried by members of Lambda Chi Alpha fraternity at Elmhurst College. Elmhurst Memorial Day parades continuous since 1918. And I don't know about you, Tony, but I didn't see the early ones.
No, I didn't see them, but I did hear of them.
Well, 1918, I was doing some math. 1918, it's pretty likely that there might have been some Civil War vets in the 1918 parade.
You know, you're absolutely right. There could have been.
Yeah. I mean, they'd have been getting up there, but there easily could have been some.
Yeah, I wonder if one or two might still be around today, too.
Oh, I can't imagine that. Let's say you were let's say you were 15 years old in 1865, the last year of the war.
Yes.
So no, there's no way.
Don't think so, huh? Okay.
No, there's no way. But
Okay.
in 1918, 1865 would have been 35 years to 1900? Oh, very easily.
Yeah, yeah.
It's always salute the flag.
Here's our banner. Yes, salute the flag. Here's John Quigley from the Elmhurst Chamber of Commerce.
What we got going on here? What's going on here? I'm Todd Benson. Smile. There we go. I knew you'd like that one.
Yeah, okay.
As you said, Tony, that was the Elmhurst Chamber of Commerce and Industry ambassadors with the always salute the flag. And the Royal Airs Drum and Bugle Corps. We'll listen to them.
Well, that'll start to get you in the mood a little bit.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And all the paraphernalia that goes along with a marching band.
Yes. Here comes the City of Elmhurst elected officials carrying the banners.
City of Elmhurst, 175 years this year, 2011, dating back to 1836, the founding of the city. Special banner for today's year. Celebrating throughout the year are several of the aldermen walking down, enjoying the beautiful weather. There's Mayor DeCiani.
And here comes some vintage equipment. Old fire engine that's been restored by our fire department. There it is. Some vintage equipment there. Very nice. They did a nice job restoring it.
Oh, absolutely. Well, and every year I say this, but it merits saying in the Memorial Day Parade, the equipment from police and fire from the many towns that come and visit Elmhurst, the sirens are silent.
Yes.
The lights are on, and obviously the equipment's rolling in emergency fashion, but the sirens are silent in respect for those who have passed on or continue to be our country in any of the branches. And in recent years we've extended that to police and fire in our communities because they too serve well beyond.
And it's a nice tradition that we have, that we do keep the sirens and silent. Well,
it's a sharp contrast from other parades where the sirens are in full roar. There's the Oak Brook Fire Department right here in front of us, one of their massive engines. Following them, we have the Antioch Brass Quintet.
This is a unit that I've had the opportunity to see in other parades too, and I always enjoy listening to them.
Yeah, they're in a lot of the parades, but and I know they're certainly in this parade. We're now going to start. The brass quintet here is stopped and getting a little round of applause in front of the viewing stand. As they move on, Tony, we move into our military officials, those folks that'll be up on the reviewing stand to watch the rest of the parade, if you will, in sort of an official capacity. Members of the military, they're going to come by here reasonably quick, and so I'm going to just simply identify the ones that we're going to be seeing because they'll come by us and then they'll get out of their cars very quickly and go up onto the reviewing stage in advance of our parade grand marshal, who comes along in just a little while. So we have from the U.S. Army Sergeant George Young. We have from the U.S. Air Force Brigadier General John Wendell. From the U.S. Navy Commander David A. Fry. From the U.S. Marine Corps Gunnery Sergeant John T. Jack Kamak, a very well-known local Elmhurst figure, of course, Tony.
Mm-hmm.
And from the U.S. Coast Guard Petty Officer Second Class Brent Reynolds. So we will, there's Jack Kamak right there, and they will slow down the parade here and let these officials get out of their cars and get up onto the reviewing stand.
Jack has been a member on our parade committee and has been very helpful.
Well, the parade committee, obviously an extension of the groups that sponsor the parade. The Elmhurst Chamber of Commerce and Industry, the Elmhurst American Legion Post, Elmhurst Veteran of Foreign War Post, and the City of Elmhurst, the four sponsors and programmers, if you will, the folks that worry about all the details that go into a parade. 83 units if everybody arrives at the starting. Parade starts in downtown Elmhurst at around 3rd Street and then commences down Robert Palmer Drive. Makes a left on, makes a right rather on Church Street, and then swings over here onto Prospect Avenue, which is the viewing that all of you are getting. This is Prospect Avenue right by Wilder Park, across the street from Elmhurst College.
We're seeing the Elmhurst veterans of foreign wars going by right now. Ken, you mentioned that the parade ends at the Wilder Park, and this is a beautiful setting here. Right after the parade is the post-parade memorial, and that's always nice to sit in on and watch and listen. It's a fine, fine tribute to our lost veterans.
Well, and it's no surprise at all as we look at the Vetso wheelchair Honor Guard Veterans vehicle from the DuPage Convalescent Center. It's no surprise that, at least from our vantage point, Tony, the crowds are significant here, and I recognize we're at the, if you will, the end of the parade, and maybe from some people's perspectives, the official spot to view things from. But you can't help wonder that given the less than ideal spring weather we've had, that on a Memorial Day that's warm, bordering on very warm and sunny, everybody decided, you know, I'm not staying in today. I'm going out to the parade. I've been in the house long enough.
Absolutely. With the rain that we've had the past several weeks, this is just a nice break. And what a nice break to occur on Memorial Day, one of our big holidays. There's some picture of some of the kids that are out today with smiles on their faces, waving the flags. There's a shot of some of the crowd that's here today. We have a nice crowd here today, and like you say, Ken, yes, this is the day everybody wants to get out. This is the official kickoff of the summer season and the barbecue,
right,
and whatnot. But it's also a day of remembrance. There's our Memorial Park area. That's where the post-parade memorial will take place. That's a beautiful setting, and it's a very, very nice ceremony that takes place right after the parade.
All the flags that have staff here on Memorial Day, of course. The memorial with the American flag in the center, flanked by the flags of all of the military branches.
You know, and I want to say, too, as we continue to look at our Memorial Center there, In the brick paver area, there is one of the stones that are in there is a quote from Calvin Coolidge, our president from long ago. And the quote is, "The nation which forgets its defenders will be itself forgotten." And that's some of the reasons why we're here today. Yes, it's a beautiful summer-like day today with a wonderful parade here in Elmhurst, but it's also a day to remember those who have given the ultimate sacrifice for us, and those that are currently serving, because we are still at war, who help us enjoy the freedom that we enjoy and that we have today.
Well, I think, and it's interesting, Tony, because I was thinking about that always remembering theme, and beyond remembering those that gave the ultimate sacrifice, and beyond remembering the current men and women that are serving, I think it's also important to kind of put yourself in that history, given where we are in terms of the passage of time. But those of you watching this cable program, where were you in 1941? Where were you in 45, 1953, 1962 with the Cuban Missile Crisis, 67, 75 with Vietnam, all of the Desert Storms? You know, put yourself in that history and add that to the remembrance. Where were you when significant things happened in the American military
That's a
history?
very good point.
This is the Chicago Symphonic Wind Ensemble.
Getting a nice applaud from the people that are here, and very appreciative of that number that they're playing.
Marine Corps anthem. There's the entry from the American Gold Star Mothers. And a longtime fixture in our parade, Major Edwin H. Walker IV, who's the 2011 Grand Marshal from the United States Marine Corps. And Tony, this gentleman served in Vietnam, Korea, Cuba, Bronze Star with the Combat V, Vietnamese Silver Star with Oak Leaf Cluster for meritorious service, was involved in the Tet Offensive of 1968, had a role in the Cuban Missile Crisis as an aide in 62, and a parachute jumper with over 100 jumps to his credit. Pretty amazing gentleman who's been in this parade many times as a representative of his branch, and today represents everyone as the Grand Marshal, and we congratulate him.
We're very, very proud to have him as our Grand Marshal today. Next unit that we see coming up is our DuPage County Marine Corps League Detachment 399 Color Guard.
followed by the Vietnam DuPage County Chapter Color Guard. A very impressive young group, Tony.
Yes, they are. Very disciplined.
And we're looking also at the Patton Academy from Farragut High School Junior ROTC Drill and Drums team.
Always enjoy listening to that cadence.
Absolutely. United States Naval Sea Corps, Sea Cadet Corps Color Guard, John F. Kennedy Division going by, and very quickly on their heels, the Carver Military Academy Drill Team and Drum Corps. Here they are. Looking cadets,
yeah.
Young potential sailors, and Tony, this next group I know is a favorite of yours.
Yes, this unit's coming up now, the Northern Illinois Chapter Military Vehicle Preservation Association. Look at some of these fine vehicles coming through here, kept in pristine condition.
Probably in better shape now than they were originally.
Yeah, it looks that way. We were talking earlier before we went on camera, Ken. This reminds me of the days of my uncle, who was in the National Guard. And when I was younger, he used to let me ride in the Jeep in the Chicago parades. And that was the first chance I had to meet General Francis Kane at that time. So you're right, these vehicles are dear to my heart, and it's a joy to see them.
Well, and they're all a little different, and yet very much the same. The muted colors, obviously the camouflage,
Right.
coloring, but there's a military police vehicle, transports, obviously some assault vehicles, just all different types.
And they not only keep them looking clean, their appearance, but they keep them mechanically running well also.
Exactly. Well, these were green vehicles long before green vehicles were popular.
Right,
So,
absolutely.
the stories that some of these vehicles undoubtedly could tell would be amazing too.
Yes.
The places they've been, the things they've been a part of.
Yes. I'm seeing one going by right now with some archaic form of air conditioning. No windows, no windshield. Very nice. We're happy to have them here today.
We're looking at some Civil War reenactors.
This is the 2nd Kentucky Cavalry Company, D. As you say, Ken, Civil War reenactors.
We were just talking about the Civil War.
Yes, we were.
There was
1800s. And
as I said, back when this parade started 93 years ago, there were probably some folks in their real old uniforms.
right.
Well, we're glad to have the reenactors here nonetheless.
Well, you can start to hear the cadence coming up now on our next unit, the Music Performing Arts Drumline, and their director, Wendell McClin.
Got the Elmhurst Historical Museum and the Elmhurst Heritage Foundation Board of Directors. Bruce Strand poster winner contests, folks, marching with them. And they're also promoting, Tony, their vintage baseball game.
Yes, that's coming up.
July 17 in Barron's Park. If you've never been to a 1850s rule baseball game, you need to come out because it's pretty interesting.
It is. That's fun to watch.
Got the Elmhurst Park District walking, members of the park board and staff. Park District, of course, we're sitting in one of their jewels, Wilder Park, but the Park District, a integral part of this community in terms of day-to-day living and all of the great programs that they put on.
They definitely help make Elmhurst look beautiful.
Tony, we're coming up on our first of many war signs, the actual designation of tribute, rather, signage for the various wars the United States has been involved in. And this first one, of course, is the Revolutionary War, the Indian War, and the War of 1812, carried by the West Suburban Girl Scouts, also obviously out in force.
Yes. Yes, they are. Nice to see them here today.
Well, and perhaps for some of them, their first parade, judging by the size of a few of them, it most likely or could be easily their first parade.
And hopefully not their last. We
No.
want to see them back again next year.
Absolutely.
Very fine showing.
All the military officials are getting a kick out of being saluted by all these young girls. I suspect up on that reviewing stand there's one or two grandpas and probably a great-grandpa or two.
Absolutely.
As well.
I don't doubt it. And they're very proud. You could tell by the smiles on their faces.
Absolutely.
Coming up next, Ken, is the York Community High School cheerleaders, led by Kristen Tanzer. right behind them is the Marching Dukes Band with their director, William Riddle.
In this car we have Lloyd Nybo, a World War II veteran. And I suspect that he must be related to
Our new state representative, Chris Nybo.
I suspect that that's probably true. The representative is, as is noted here on the sign as it goes by, it says, Representative Nybo's down in Springfield working.
Yes.
They're
Yeah,
taking
they're
a
still
lot
in
of.
session.
They are, and they've been taking some votes. I heard on the news today. I'm not going to go into them, but York Community High School Youth Leadership Group, Pride. Pride, a positive role model rather, group.
Our next unit coming up here is Dulles Cleaners, and their float is a company that's been in Elmhurst since 1958. Nice to have them here today. Nice float.
Always a nice float, no question about it. They have always had float in the parade, certainly in recent memory.
Yeah, and they've been here for many, many years. That says something for them, a business that has survived that long here in Elmhurst. Nice to have them here.
Now we want to wait until they get a little closer into your picture, but Bolivia Manta Dance Ensemble. We're just going to watch these. This is pretty unique, Tony.
Yeah, this is really interesting.
Still missing.
Bolivia Manta Dance Ensemble. Here in the Elmhurst Memorial Day Parade for the very first time. There's the Mexican War sign. Boy Scout Troop 82 involved in that. Elmhurst JC's Queen of the St. Patrick's Day Parade also gets to come here in the Memorial Day Parade, and we're delighted to have her.
Ken, here comes the Elmhurst Police Department DARE unit and the 5th grade students. This is a program that Elmhurst has had, and it is a very, very good program. DARE, drug abuse, resistance, education. In the car we saw go by was Officer Anthony Cazzone with Officer Josh Duffy. And the...
Cassoni, you got the same name as you, Tony.
How about that?
Amazing.
Yeah. We spell it the same, too.
Wow.
Walking is Officer Nick Waldenmeyer and Mike Ryman. On the bicycles are Officer Matt McCullum and Officer Brendan Bruckner. And in the SUV, yeah, we saw youngster in there. That's along with the driver, Tony Poli, and he's the canine officer along with the canine Diesel.
Well, the unique Elmhurst camera photo truck and all of the good things that Elmhurst camera does for disabled children in the community throughout the year. The Elmhurst Family YMCA sliding on by us right now.
It reminds me, I haven't been to the Y in a while. I got to get back, start working out again.
Civil War sign, Cub Scout Pack 417. Parade this long, Tony's going to have a gap now and then, and got a little bit of a gap here leading up to the 56th Virginia Infantry Civil War reenactors. Period uniforms and it's kind of interesting that rifle salute.
That was nice. Nice salute.
It gets your attention.
Yes, it does.
Absolutely gets your attention. We're never sure here, ladies and gentlemen, whether some of these groups are going to fire off a round or not. And, that one caught me by surprise, yeah. I don't mind saying.
Our next unit here that we see in our picture, Ken, is the Knights of Columbus from here in Elmhurst. Father McDonald Council, the 1911 Club. And this is the 4th degree. This is the honor hood degree. The Knights have 4 different degrees, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, and this is the honor guard. The Elmhurst District 205 Combined Middle Schools Marching Band. Directors Brian Berg, Tara Blocky, Heather Knight, Cindy Kraus, and Ricardo Vasquez. Let's listen to them. Spanish-American war signs, Cub Scout pack number 78.
Elmhurst Police Department Citizens Police Academy. Opportunity for citizens to become more involved with law enforcement here in our community. Lexington Square went by there too pretty quickly, and here's the York Township Democratic Organization folks going through. the World War I sign. And of course, it was at the conclusion of World War I in 1918 that Elmhurst began doing Memorial Day parades. Some 93 years ago, as we've mentioned. Quick math tells me that in 7 years, Tony, we'll be having our 100th Memorial Day parade.
That's right. Next unit is the AM 1160 WYLL radio, Christian radio.
And the World War II sign. As I mentioned, every year goes by, there are fewer World War II veterans among us. And we need to be mindful of that as these parades continue.
Absolutely.
Year by year.
Nice to see the Cub Scouts with their Cub Scout salute as they go by this reviewing stand also.
Here's the Pampered Chef entry into this year's parade.
Looks like we have a little break here right now. I wanted to just mention, Ken, that earlier we talked about our fire department and our fire department with the vintage truck that went by and all the newer units and whatnot. And I just want to let everybody know that our fire department does provide free car seat inspections by a trained and certified child passenger safety technician. Residents in Elmhurst can call the fire department and have that taken care of. Also, residents can call for the safety programs our fire department has. Learn not to burn and cool rules for fire safety. Our programs that our fire department currently presents to 1st and 4th grade students at Elmhurst schools. And residents can also call our fire department to schedule a tour of our newer station, Station 2, down on the south side of Elmhurst.
Okay, Tony, with that, we've got a little bit of a break as we look at the crowd here on Prospect Avenue. We'll be right back.
Making the world a better place is an intricate puzzle. And piece by piece, the women and men of Rotary have worked hard to fight hunger, promote literacy, and move the world toward peace. But there is still much to be done, still some missing pieces. And one of those missing pieces is you. Learn how you can help Rotary put together a better world.
You may not know what to say, but we can help start the conversation. Learn more at supportyourvet.org.
We're here at the 93rd Elmhurst Memorial Day Parade. I'm Ken Bartels with my partner, Tony Cazzone, and we're right here in Wilder Park, Prospect Avenue, and on your camera you can see in the slight distance our next musical group, the Chicago Highlanders Pipes and Drums, and this is a group that people over the years have come to really, really enjoy and recognize, and they do such a classy job, and we'll watch and listen to them for just a little bit. medley of all sorts of military and patriotic songs there, Tony.
Yeah, that
from
brings a really nice touch to our
over
parade.
there and the Marine Corps.
We're looking next at the Elmhurst Public Library, the Kids Library. Have some animated pets accompanying some of the adults in our parade.
Those animated pets are pretty easy to care for.
Yeah.
There's Ed Napleton, Elmhurst Imports. And the Treetown Cooperative Nursery School. Once again, an opportunity for some young kids perhaps to be in a parade for the first time. We've got some folks going by in wagons. Here comes pretty little guy there. Maybe in his first parade.
He has the best seat in the house
I
today.
think so. Korean War sign with Cub Scout Pack 25 from Immaculate Conception Grade School. I see right across the other side of Wilder Park from where we are. American flags in strong display. Walking over here, I noticed so many of the houses had their flags out today, as they should, but it was really good to see nonetheless.
It is good to see that. And I know all of our military vets appreciate that too. They appreciate seeing that and seeing our support. Next is the AM 560 WIND radio unit.
It's the Elmhurst Lions Club unit. Lions Club, one of the many outstanding service organizations here in town. Many of them represented in the parade. And of course the Kiwanis Club of Elmhurst comes up much later, but the Kiwanis Club involved in some of the planning for the parade as well. But Lions comes up first, and glad to see all of them. The Vietnam War and the Dominican Republic war signs coming up right here. Cub Scout Pack 24.
That's not a bribe.
There's a nice impressive look at the Cub Scouts with their Cub Scout salute.
Well, in Vietnam and Dominican Republic wars, those veterans very much still among us in numbers.
Yes.
So it's good to recognize and remember them and their service.
I've been on their show like 3 times before.
And all the fresh young Cub Scout faces
There's our
finding the camera.
future leaders.
You know, you bet. That's right. That looks like
There
a
you go.
president of the
He's
United
enjoying.
States right there, I thought.
Yeah.
That's,
Just teach them how to shake hands. And
that's right. I don't think
next
this-
unit going by now, Ken, is the Summer Nights Car Club. And check out this license plate. And Romeo 2 on that unit we see going by, number 61.
I'm not even, I don't even want to know what that means, Tony.
There's a Trans Am. There's some of these cars are
Yeah,
dear to my heart.
right. Probably what? 8-10 miles to the gallon there?
That could be, yeah. And of course, those were in the days when gasoline was well
right.
under
Yeah,
$1
Don't worry
a
about
gallon.
such things. That's right.
Right.
Yeah. Boy, we are really dating ourselves now, my friend.
How about it?
You know.
Yeah, that looks like an old Chevy. There's the hula. Remember the hula hoop craze?
I do remember the
Yeah.
hula hoop craze. And these guys know what they're doing.
Yeah. The kids drop in unit. Very colorful. Red, white, and blue balloons.
Kids drop in. Like I
There's
said,
a nice
boy,
shot.
wagons have changed a lot too.
Yeah, those.
Yeah, that's pretty fancy there.
Uh-huh.
Unit 63 leads off a series of cars representing cool cars. Throughout the summer and early fall, Elmhurst City Center cool cars. Really a wonderful thing to look forward to on a regular basis in the summertime in Elmhurst is go downtown and look at some of the cars and grab something to eat and look at a few more cars and maybe eat a little more.
That's right. It is. It's a great night, Ken. I've gone several times myself, continue to go, and it's always nice to see a lot of these older vintage cars kept in pristine condition.
Well, beyond pristine in some cases. I mean, the amount of time that these folks have spent on some of these vehicles is truly remarkable.
Absolutely.
And I have to tell you, I'm seeing cars that you don't often see. I have a feeling that many of these cars, they don't go out in even iffy weather.
No, and definitely not on the snow.
Well, snow for sure, but I mean, even in past Memorial Day's parades when it might be threat of rain and whatnot, some of these cars don't come out.
Right.
And, so we're seeing a few this year that perhaps are new to viewership.
Right, absolutely. Some are vintage, and others are the older type muscle cars.
You bet.
There goes a beauty. Here we're looking at one of the newer Chevy Camaro with the rally stripes. Right behind, there's the Camaro right there. Beautiful car. Right behind the Camaro is the Mustang GT.
You have to order it with those stars, or do they come standard?
Or you get a kit maybe to paint them on yourself.
Okay.
Maybe there's the GT.
Yep. Elmhurst Cool Cars, Wednesdays from 7 to 9 at night, Elmhurst City Center.
They've been known to have radio personalities such as Dick Biondi on Wednesday nights also.
Yep. See, this float, it's always very, I don't like mosquitoes. I don't know very many people who do.
Right.
This is Dads Against Mosquitoes, and I always feel like, it should be followed by Moms Against Mosquitoes and Kids Against Mosquitoes and Grandparents Against Mosquitoes. Nonetheless,
But it's the dads.
We've got Dads Against Mosquitoes, and we're glad they're here. Followed quickly by the Chiefs Hockey Club, and they're out here in force. And of course, last year they were all excited about the Blackhawks. This year, maybe less excited about the Blackhawks, but here nonetheless.
Yes. They tried their best this year.
They did. Well, it seems like we're doing a lot of that this year. Trying our best. Yeah.
There's another shot. Kids in the parade today, enjoying themselves. Everybody with all smiles on their faces. Again, beautiful day today in Elmhurst. blue skies, temperatures going up in the 90s as we celebrate with our Memorial Day parade.
Multiple miracles, families with twins and triplets, and vehicles to accommodate same. Multiple seated strollers and wagons, and it's pretty interesting. There's a triple right there coming up. But it's an interesting group. They join together because they have kind of a unique experience. I mean, most folks go one at a time with their families, but these folks,
they're blessed.
They are.
They're
boy.
blessed.
They are indeed.
Here's some three-wheeled floats.
That's right. And once again, how often do you get to take your tricycle out on the streets of Elmhurst for an extended run?
Absolutely.
Not often, nor should you very often, but today it's okay.
Today is the day that we let them do that.
That's right. That's a long way to ride a tricycle.
They've
really been
Come to
riding
think of
that
it.
tricycle all the way from downtown over here. That's a pretty. That may be by design too, because those kids will probably go to bed a little earlier tonight than normal.
Of course, then they're kids too.
Well, that's a good point.
They have a lot of energy.
They do. They do. That's still a long way to ride a tricycle, at least in my book. Maybe not. I don't know.
Yay, Patrick. Woo, good throw.
There's a youngster going by. He got his socks hat on. And
Right.
he's enjoying
Candy
the
to the
parade.
crowd.
That's it.
That's a fine young man, sharing his candy with the masses here at the Memorial Day parade.
And we do have a fine crowd out here today, Ken. Everybody.
Oh, absolutely.
Everybody is out
Yeah.
enjoying the weather, enjoying our parade today.
Well, the view we have on Prospect, which is almost entirely in the sun, is there's not quite as many people in evidence. But I got to tell you, every time you look around here, as we can see, in the shade, there are lots and lots of people here.
Yes, there are.
Lots and lots of people. Elmhurst Rotary Club, another one of the fine service organizations here in town, and they have a number of their scholarship winners in various vintage vehicles going by. Rotary gives out around $10,000 a year in scholarships, which are renewable. College and vocational scholarships, and these are some of this year's winners from the 3 Elmhurst high schools.
Corvette.
Yep.
Our next unit, Ken, is the Timothy Christian High School Band with their director, Doug Helt.
Persian Gulf War, Cub Scout pack number 23 out of Epiphany Lutheran Church.
What a great showing today, the Scouts. Awesome showing.
Yep, they're here in numbers and in evidence, and they have their flags, and I'm sure many of them are looking forward to heading back home and having that cookout.
Yes.
And
The hot dogs. And
maybe the first of the year, maybe not, but nonetheless.
Today's a perfect day for that, too.
Dr. Kurt Carlson going by. His small entourage. Cub Scout Pack 17 in the War on Terrorism. September 11, 2001. And very hard to believe, Tony, that this is coming up this September will be the 10th anniversary of 9/11.
Right.
And there will be a commemoration of that at the 9/11 Memorial on Spring Road. That's in the works.
That's another date many of us will not
Yeah.
forget.
That's exactly right. It has the same kind of significance, I think, for modern day Americans as December 7, 1941.
1941,
has.
yes.
And although it's a different kind of war, it's going to be with us, unfortunately, probably for a long time.
Enchanted Castle going by us right now.
Enchanted Castle, and there's a vintage Cadillac ambulance from Superior Ambulance Service, followed by a little more current vintage. Operation Enduring Freedom sign will come up next, and of course that's a significant one because that's what we're in right now.
That's right, absolutely. And it's nice to see that supported by another Cub Scout pack.
Yeah, number 15, Cub Scout Pack 15.
Hi.
303 taxi. Taxi service here in town. And our final commemoration sign, that would be the Operation Iraqi Freedom sign, proudly displayed by Cub Scout Pack number 14. They're right in front of the reviewing stand now.
And Ken, what is really something to see right now, everyone in the audience that's been watching the parade that has been seated is now on their feet as the Operation Iraqi Freedom sign went by, and that is being followed by our flag. The crowd is, everyone is up on their feet.
Kiwanis Club of Elmhurst in their traditional role with the American flag in front of the reviewing stand. We're going to get an opportunity to see what they do with this flag now. I have to say, too, that I tell you, on a windy day, that's difficult to handle. So it's a beautiful day for them today,
Yes.
and we're proud to have them with us.
Thank you. Thank you.
The flag going by here at the dignitaries viewing stand here at Wilder Park, followed quickly by the York Radio Club, which is in charge of parade communications.
And they do a very fine job with the communications, letting us know
Exactly.
up-to-date what's going on.
Got the First Congregational Church of Elmhurst. They're coming through, and their role in the parade, Tony, is somewhat unique. They're coming through. They're actually picking up any trash that.
Oh, there you go.
They're
the green team.
Right.
Yeah.
Pretty interesting. And some of them got quite a collection, too.
Yeah, I see that.
It's a lot of stuff. Water bottles. They're collecting trash from the parade watchers. Now that, I have to tell you, that's
rather unique.
That's a pretty interesting idea. It's a pretty interesting idea, I have to say.
Recyclables of all kinds. What have you got?
First Congregational UCC, and it's the Elmhurst Flea and Craft Show, and that's coming in August. And with that, Tony, we've actually come very quickly, I think, to the end of the 93rd Elmhurst Memorial Day Parade. And I hope everyone watching has enjoyed themselves and will stay tuned for the very moving and always patriotically challenging program in Wilder Park. And you can see the Veterans Memorial there. And we'll be going right there at the conclusion of the parade. And Tony, it's been great working with you again.
And likewise, Ken, it's a great parade, great day, and for Elmhurst to be able to salute all of our vets today on Memorial Day.
So for Tony Cazzone and Ken Bartels, this has been the Memorial Day Parade, the 93rd in Elmhurst, 2011, on Elmhurst, our kind of town.
There are several thousand collisions involving trains each year, which result in over 1,000 injuries and several hundred deaths. A majority of these deaths occur when someone is struck by a train while trespassing on railroad property. Remember, railroad property is private property. Trespassing along railroad property is not only against the law, it's very dangerous. Avoid taking shortcuts. The only safe place to cross railroad tracks is at a designated crossing. Don't get caught dead on the tracks. Stay off, stay away, stay alive.
To the men and women of the United States Armed Forces, the USO is home. The USO depends on the generosity of the American people, people just like you. To find out how you can help, visit us at uso.org. The USO, until everyone comes home.
Please rise.
Thank you, Brian. Please be seated. And welcome to our Memorial Day ceremony. Commander Bruno, where are you? Let's lead us in a Pledge of Allegiance, please. Please stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please take your seats.
It's indeed an honor to be here today. I'd like us to keep a couple things in mind. This year is the 70th anniversary of Pearl Harbor and the 10th anniversary of 9/11. And now if we could have Annie Quigley come up with the Star-Spangled Banner.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Color guard, take your post. Wait. What word?
First of all, I'd like to introduce myself, Bill Shanklin. I'm the Master of Ceremonies today, and Don Kemp is our Officer of the Day. Where are you, Don? You're over here. Okay, good. He makes this thing work. I just have to say the words. Right now, I'd like to call on Brigadier General John Wendell to do our opening prayer, and I think he has just a couple of words for us.
As we begin, I just want to share what an honor it is to be a part of the Memorial Day parade here in Elmhurst. Riding again at the early part of the parade with thousands of people and so many children in attendance. And a round of applause the entire distance of the parade, not for those of us who were on those automobiles, but for the men and the women whom we represent down through the ages in the 235-year history of this greatest nation on earth. And then having opportunity to be on the reviewing stand, I just remember one little lad who came up. He was a Cub Scout, and he looked at us rather inquisitively, and he asked a question. He said, "Are you soldiers?" And then he went back to his troop and continued on the parade. And what an honor it is for me to sit next to a gentleman who served in both Army and Navy. And I had the privilege of shaking the hand that once shook the hand of Admiral Halsey. So I don't think I'm going to wash my hand for a long time. As we think in terms of the price that has been paid by so many for so many years, not for this nation to grab land or to acquire an empire, but to protect freedom of those persons from whom it has been so ruthlessly taken in years gone by. And the only land that we had asked for in return was just enough to bury our dead who provided their freedom. We want to honor the men and the women from ages past who have gone on before, the many who have paid what we call the supreme sacrifice, and also to honor the men and the women who currently serve in the United States military. And I want to share with you just a brief part that I shared in my message to my congregation yesterday morning in my morning message at our church. And it reads as follows. It is the most dreaded duty of a military chaplain to knock on the door of the family of a fallen hero. Such was my responsibility as I and two other officers made the call to the home of a war hero, a pilot of the 126th Air Refueling Wing, whose aircraft plummeted from the sky along with 22 other service personnel. The sad news was shared with his heartbroken wife and grieving parents. This duty has been repeated many times over the history of our nation, and such was the case for Marine Corporal Jacob C. Licht, who made the supreme sacrifice for the nation that he loved so dearly. Corporal Licht, an adopted son, had been born in California in a Navy hospital. He turned his back on a college ROTC scholarship after just one semester because he feared it would lead him to a safe desk job stateside. Corporal Licht joined the United States Marine Corps and was deployed to Iraq in 2007. He was there less than a month when his Humvee drove over two 500-pound IEDs buried in the road. One detonated and the other did not. Corporal Licht spent 2 years recovering from wounds suffered during his deployment to Iraq. During his recovery, he launched a campaign for himself at Brooke Army Medical Center in San Antonio. Writing letters and making phone calls to anyone who would listen about returning to combat, he was finally strong enough to return to duty, and so he did. Corporal Licht was deployed to Afghanistan. While in Afghanistan, his younger brother Jesse joined the Corps. Using Facebook to reach a friend stationed not far from his brother, Jesse asked the Marine a favor. If you see Jacob, tell him now that I have signed up too. Hopefully, Jacob got the word, because 9 days later, Corporal Jacob Licht made the supreme sacrifice for his nation when he stepped on a landmine. Corporal Licht was born on July the 4th and laid down his life for his country at the age of 24. Just 3 days before Memorial Day 2010, he was the 1,000th American serviceman killed in Afghanistan. There have been many Jacob Lichts during the proud history of this great nation, and I conclude by saying, God bless the men and the women who dedicate their lives to protect us. God bless the USA. We're going to have just a moment of silence as we remember the men and the women who have gone on before, those who have laid down their lives in order that we might have the opportunity for an observance such as we are having on this day. Join with me, following which I will lead in prayer. And our God, we come to you this day as a people, a part of a nation that spreads from shore to shore, a land that has known freedom for so many years because there have been those who have paid what is termed as the supreme sacrifice. and have laid down their lives willingly in order that we and our children and our grandchildren and generations yet to come might live in freedom in a land that has known freedom like no other nation in the history of humankind. Our Father, we pray for our President, we pray for our Congress, we pray for our men and women in the military. We thank you for all those others who serve in protecting lives, our police officers, our firefighters, and we, the civilian body of this nation, who give support to them. And so, our God, as we come now, we ask that you will look down upon us with favor and upon this nation, that we might be a nation that truly is one, as we said in the pledge, one nation under God. This I pray in the name of my Lord, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Now we'll have the Vietnam organization post the Killed in Action flag. Build a memorial. The weapon has been inspected, the magazine removed, the last round has been fired. These military identification tags are commonly referred to as dog tags. This set is blank. No name, no serial number, or religion preference. They represent all that have died in service to their country. The helmet, a valuable piece of equipment, more than just for protection. How many have shaved, bathed, and even cooked in it? This helmet will no longer be used. These boots, worn and without polish, demonstrates the trials endured. These boots, which are tread-bare, shall never again touch the ground.
Detail. Hand salute. 2. Detail. Right. Hey. Forward. Hey.
Now I would like to invite John Quigley, President and CEO of Elmhurst Chamber of Commerce and Industry, to honor our dead with special recognition.
Twice a year, it is my honor to be at this podium to read the names of those who have served and those who have passed. Since the last time we gathered here in November, we have lost 66 individuals. And I will read you their names. Paul Ronald Anderson, Robert Ellery Andreessen, John Stanley Baker, Alfred E. Bolaka, Robert I. Bassendale, Ralph Bishop Brooks, Jr., Leroy W. Buckholtz, Gene Cardelli, Ernest I. Carmichael, Jr., Peter Chappelle, William Thomas Crean, Calvin Cunningham, Edward Curran, Anthony D'Ambrogio, Charles C. DeAndre, Patrick J. Dawson, Frank D'Iorio, Ralph William Doberstein, John Duffy, Robert Lee Foley, Clark Eugene France, Albert J. Gale, Patrick J. Gallagher, Louis Joseph Graysick, Marvin G. Glassbrenner, Joseph A. Hassler, Jr., William F. Hester, Anthony J. Holly, Sr., Speedy Iavaroni, Anthony Alardo, Edward Isbanner, Robert Castholm, Robert Louis Kelsey, Royce J. Kimmel, Sr., William B. Kingsbury, Jr., Marcel C. Kerbick, Richard Charles Leverance, John Angelo Liberti, David B. Madigan, Carl J. Martin, John J. McCole, George E. McDonald, Wynn Taylor McDowell, Jr., John F. Mysick, Robert E. Murray, Robert Nasty, Joseph A. Nelson, Jr., Michael Francis O'Neill, Frederick H. Otten, Robert C. Peterson, Archie A. Price, Armin W. Puschek, Bernard W. Puzin, Frank J. Rexing, Paul H. Rickard, Michael Sasso, Robert W. Satterwaith, Timothy Scanlon, Robert J. Schmidt, Robert Shade, James E. Tompkins, Stephen Allen Toms, Ivar F. Tyberg, William Harold Emil Voss, Charles H. Winscheigel, Alfonso Leo Yelly. As I always do, I ask that you remember them in your hearts, in your mind, but I ask today that you remember them with a large round of applause. Before I turn the dais back over to Bill, he did mention earlier that we are approaching the 10th anniversary of 9/11. And currently the Spring Road Business Association, Elmhurst Park District, American Legion, the city and the chamber are all working together to put together a commemoration ceremony on 9/11 in September out at the memorial off Spring Road. More information will be coming on that. I make special note of that because there is the name of a dead person I did not report because it's not an American, but it was an important death nonetheless. and one we should remember. And it was done recently at the hands of an elite Navy SEALs team that went into Pakistan and took out a terrorist by the name of Osama bin Laden. For those plotting to do evil to our country, this you must always remember. While American justice may not always be swift, it is certainly inevitable. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Rifle squad, fire a 3-round volley. Prepare to fire. Safety is off. Ready. Fire. Ready. Ready. Recover. Bugler, taps. Dismiss the rifle squad. Please be seated. And now I welcome our Mayor Pete DeCiani to make a couple of comments to our gathering today.
Thank you, Bill. Welcome, everyone. It's a privilege and honor for me to be here and every year to celebrate the people that served our country. Being able to open up a small business at age 18 and being able to go to Elmhurst College and pay my own way through running that small business, being able to practice the religion that we choose to practice. I know I was talking with Major Ed Walker, who's our man of the day today. He's a Scot-Irish, and I'm an Irish-Italian. And, our ancestors moved from those countries because oftentimes they were oppressed, and they came to the U.S. so that we'd have freedom and independence. And because of the people like yourself, because of the people that gave of their lives, we have those things that we often take for granted. I can tell you, this mayor and the 43,000 people that I represent don't take that for granted, and we have the great town of Elmhurst that we have because of each and every one of you, not only that have passed, but also the ones that are here today in uniform. Memorial Day is, I think, unique to all of us. We all have different people that have touched our lives. For me, it's the Joe Vaniks that grew up on Myrtle and Grantley, our former alderman Jane Vanik's son. It's the Tim McKenzies who grew up right next door to me. It's Earl Field, who was my dad's high school student who served in Vietnam as a medic and recently passed away. He was also the mayor of Norwich, and just a great, great man. It's the Mark Robbins, a kid that survived. Talk about Navy SEALs. A kid that survived a bullet to the eye that came out his ear, okay? And he saved his platoon and would refuse to be put on a stretcher, walked on the helicopter to go to the Medicaid. Navy SEAL from Elmhurst, Illinois, still living. He's a sheriff in Lake County. I was actually with his boss at the Annie Ryan run last week, and he said, I'm so proud to have a Navy SEAL serve the sheriff's department of Lake County, and knowing he's from Elmhurst, Illinois, knowing he virtually almost gave his life. Thank God he's still with us. But those are, everybody has their story, their touch of who they've been affected by. And so I just can't express my gratitude to those who have served, those who are currently serving, the Navy SEALs that took out the bad guy that was the head of the snake, that decimated 4,000 Americans on 9/11. Thank God for those people, because they are special, and they are the true leaders of this country, the true leaders that give us the freedoms that we have and long appreciate. When I heard the Irish bagpipes by Brian Costello, I couldn't help but think of some other moments. The Shannon Rovers, Brian's a Shannon Rover, and the Shannon Rovers were started by a guy named Joe Shannon. Joe was also an Army, a veteran, and later became a firefighter for the Chicago Fire Department. Joe was my great uncle, and he taught all these guys how to play the pipes. And so it's really, I think, coming when you hear the pipes, and you hear, oftentimes we hear them at a funeral or at a death, but they are uplifting, they are spiritual, and it's an Irish guy that came over from Ireland with 9 of his brothers that wanted something better, didn't want to be oppressed by the English, and wanted something different. And thank God they came, and thank God we had leaders and fighters that again give us the freedoms that we often take for granted. But again, this mayor, this city will never take that for granted. So God bless you all for your service. God bless those that have passed. We mourn their mothers, their fathers, their brothers, their sisters that are sorrowing over their sadness. And it's a great day in our country when we can honor those people, and we will always honor those people. So God bless America, and God bless Elmhurst, Illinois. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to introduce the officers representing their branch of service. Normally, Colonel Brackey does this for us, but he couldn't be here today. He's out of town, so I said I would fill in for him. First, I would like to introduce our General. Wendell spoke to you earlier, representing the Air Force. Then Sergeant Young, representing, now he almost got me in a little trouble. I wasn't quite sure who he was going to represent because he served in the Navy and Army. So glad you're here. Next to him is Commander David A. Fry, U.S. Navy. Next to him is Jack Kamak. We all know Jack, Gunny Sergeant, United States Marine Corps. And next to him, I'm not going to introduce you. We'll get to you later. And sir, I don't know your name. Would you like to introduce yourself? T5 Marvin Michelin. Michelin. 3rd Armored Division.
Spearhead of all the Allied armies on the Western Front in World War II.
Spearhead, and you guys won the war single-handedly too, I bet. Thank you for being here. And I believe sitting next to him is family and friends of our Grand Marshal. Okay, please be seated, sirs. Now I think we're at that time where we can introduce you, Major Walker. So could I have Mr. John Quigley and the chairman of our Veterans Memorial Commission come forward and make the presentation.
All right, pardon us. That's the most difficult part of our role each year is to locate the banner after it's been carried in the parade. But it's difficult to follow the people who had at the podium this morning. But John and I have the privilege of introducing Major Edwin H. Walker IV. He's a great friend to Elmhurst. He's been a great friend to the Elmhurst Memorial and to the Elmhurst Parade over the years. And we were just so pleased to be able to honor him. And we have to present to him the banner that was carried by 3 of the Great Lakes training officers today. So, and I think Father Walker enjoyed meeting them and having them escort him down the parade route. Father Walker.
I think we should have his relatives hold the banner up while he speaks. Come on.
Sure. Should we do that?
Yeah.
John has asked whether his friends and relatives would like to come forward and hold the banner behind Major Walker.
Put my nephews to work.
Yeah, it would be a nice touch, and I'm sure he'll enjoy seeing that when he sees the video. Thank you so much.
Thanks. There's plenty of snacks for family. There you go. I knew we'd put them to work for you.
Yeah, good, John. That's wonderful. Well, before I give my little response, I would like to introduce some of my relatives. I was very moved last week when I got a call from one of my nephews, my dear nephew Steve. Where's Steve? No, Steve's over here. And to tell me that he and one of my other nephews, Michael Stoner Morris, who is a lawyer in Louisville, Kentucky, would be driving up yesterday to be at this ceremony. And also, I'm very happy to have my dear niece, I think, who's right over, where is Lynn Ambrose? I think she's right back there with her family, who lives down in another lovely village of Hinsdale that you all have heard of. So I'm very happy also to have riding with me today a very dear couple who's in my parish, Russian Orthodox Parish in Carroll Stream, and that's John and Emma Matish. And I'm so happy to have them here with me, and of course I'm very happy to see all of you here today, because I've been here many times and I'm always thrilled to come to Elmhurst, which, as you will see from my talk, is a very unique place and holds a special place in my heart. On Wednesday, 26 January 2011, as I sat at home working on chamber business, the telephone rang, and it was my good friend, Commander William R. Shanklin, calling to inquire if I was willing to be considered for Grand Marshal of the Memorial Day Parade in Elmhurst. I was quite overcome with humble gratitude at his gracious invitation. Although I have participated in some 15 Elmhurst Memorial Day parades during 1995 through 2010, I never dreamed that I would be invited to serve as Grand Marshal. My first experience with this historic annual event came in 1995, when our good friend William Bill Ralston invited me to participate in the 77th annual parade in 1995. Bill was a longtime friend and supporter of our Maywood Baton Day organization, whose annual celebration is on the second Sunday in September. Indeed, when we dedicated our newly constructed Veterans Memorial in 1999, I turned to Bill and his program here for the structure of our memorial service in Maywood. Bill, as well as your beloved former mayor and my good friend Thomas J. Marcucci, were honored at that service of dedication. When thinking back on my many pleasant experiences in the unique city of Elmhurst, first comes to mind the past 15 annual Elmhurst Memorial Day parades, when I represented the United States Marine Corps, in which I served for 12 and a half years, as well as the Maywood Baton Day organization, with whom I have been associated since my moving to Maywood in 1987. Then I recall my invitations to participate in some of the Veterans Day services, as well as the invitation from Tim Shonta of the Elmhurst Bible Church to appear along with our dear friend, Brigadier General John Wendell, United States Air Force, at a prayer breakfast. Next, I remember the honor I received when asked to speak at the special memorial service in Hammersmith Chapel for William Ralston. My special thanks go to the former mayor, Thomas D. Marcucci, Commander William R. Shanklin, American Legion THB Post 187, my fellow Kiwanians, Ralph P. Pachanio, chairman of the Elmhurst Veterans Memorial Commission, and John R. Quigley, president and CEO of the Elmhurst Chamber of Commerce and Industry, as well as my fellow worker in the Lord, Elmhurst College chaplain H. Scott Matheny. Elmhurst's 93rd annual Memorial Day Parade and post-parade military ceremony has been designated a day of remembrance in Elmhurst to honor the men and women of our nation's armed forces, both past and present. To build upon this important theme of remembrance, I would like to invite you to join me for a few minutes of reflection on some of the highlights of the history of your unique village and then city in her excellent book, Visionary, an Elmhurst Retrospective by Dr. Virginia Stewart. Is Dr. Stewart perhaps with us here today? I talked to her on the phone and she said she was going to try to be here, but she holds a PhD and is a very noted historian who's written a wonderful book that the Historical Commission has for sale, and I have one in my briefcase over there. This book was characterized by former Mayor Marcucci as looking back at the process of looking forward. Dr. Stewart examines community building and civic identity during 4 pivotal eras from the mid-19th century to the present, and sees Elmhurst's defining attributes as, and I quote, connected, centered, forward-thinking, landscaped, schooled, enriched, involved, and history-minded. Elmhurst traces its origins to July 4, 1849, when the Galena and Chicago Union Railroad, later the Chicago and Northwestern Railroad, made its first trip west from Chicago, pulled by the wood-burning locomotive, the Pioneer, with a stop at York Road, Cottage Hill, for nowhere else was water and wood furnished for the wood-burning Pioneer. Up until the First World War, trains still stopped at Elmhurst to take on water. In 1869, the name was changed from Cottage Hill to Elmhurst, and in 1882, Elmhurst was incorporated as a village. In 1871, Melanchthon Seminary was founded, formally assuming the name Elmhurst College in 1924. During the 2 decades, 1910 to 1930, Elmhurst grew into the largest town in DuPage County, and the population rose from 2,360 to 14,053. In 1920, the Elmhurst Park District was organized, and the following year, Wilder Park, right where you're sitting, was acquired. This year is its 90th anniversary. In 1926, the Elmhurst Hospital opened, and to celebrate the 85th anniversary of its opening, we'll open this fall a new $500 million facility on Roosevelt Road and York Street. In 1924, Melanchthon Seminary formally assumed the name Elmhurst College, and the first leader of the new 4-year college was a 1912 alumnus, H. Richard Niebuhr, who, along with his older brother, Reinhold Niebuhr, a 1910 alumnus, shaped the history of the college over the next 2 decades. Both were leading American theologians whose profound influence on the politics and theological discourse of the 20th century continues to be felt today. Dedicated on 19 May 1997, a magnificent 9-foot bronze monument to Reinhold Niebuhr by the sculptor Robert Burks, famous for his busts of U.S. presidents, stands in Krantz Forum east of the Frick Center. Carl Sandburg, the famous poet and Lincoln biographer, lived in Maywood during World War I, 1914 to 1919, and his home at 616 South 8th Avenue is still standing. In 1919, Sandburg moved to Elmhurst and lived at 331 South York Street, one of the city's oldest houses built in the 1850s, which was demolished in the late 60s and is now the Baptist Church parking lot. In 1932, the year of my birth, the Kiwanis Club of Elmhurst was founded. Throughout the years, activities of the annual Pancake Day in spring and Peanut Day in September have helped to support many community programs. Numbering 60 members today, its members include Ralph P. Pachanio and John R. Quigley. And your speaker has been a member of the Kiwanis Club of Ravenswood in Chicago since August 1982. From the late 1940s until the 1960s, Elmhurst repeated the growth surge of the 1920s. The population tripled again from just over 15,000 in 1940 to more than 50,000 in 1970. And the city annexed large acreage. Determined to control the direction of local development, Elmhurst adopted the council manager form of government by referendum in 1953. In the 1980s and 1990s, Elmhurst faced significant demographic, economic, and environmental challenges and emerged as one of Chicagoland's premier suburbs. Today, we live in a time of great peril. As our country faces economic disaster, an overextending federal government which threatens our civil liberties, and a broad and vicious assault on the traditional constitutional values which have made our country great and a beacon of freedom for the world. Class warfare, political correctness, attacks on constitutional government, a failure to protect our borders, a misuse and denigration of our military, and an insidious attack on human life all point to the importance of our remembrance of the blessings of living in a community like Elmhurst, as well as the sacrifices of those who have given their lives to protect and ensure the continuance of our American way of life. Thanks be to God for Elmhurst, which is a beacon of light in the darkness. May we always persevere in maintaining our priorities of God, family, and country. May God bless Elmhurst and our great country, the United States of America. Amen. Thank you all very much. I'm really overcome. Before I go back to my seat, I have something for Commander Shanklin. I got to thinking the other night how ungrateful I am. I've been down to the American Legion to have lunch so many times and enjoyed all you good people. So right here, Commander, is my application for membership with my DD 214 and the check for membership.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Where's Bud Jason? I think we found another historian. Bagpiper. It's almost 12 o'clock, so we're going to raise the colors, which is a tradition throughout the country. On Memorial Day, the flag flies at half-staff until noon. Raise the color. Do the colors. Please stand. Okay, thank you. Please be seated. Now we're going to honor our dead by the laying of wreaths. The officers, I would like one each representing your branch to please stand. We need a Marine. Jack will do it. And we need an Army. One person to represent the Army. He can do it. We've got one. Don, would you escort the Army to their appropriate position? All right, what we're going to do is I'm going to ask you to march over to your appropriate monument, stand facing the monument. We're going to do a hand salute, about face, and when the band plays your service song, go back to your seat. Anyone in the audience, when you hear your service song, please stand. All right, please take your post, facing your monument. Is there any Coast Guard representative here? Anyone serving in the Coast Guard? Come on up. Follow my commands. Present hook. Order. Order. Hook. About peace. United States Army. United States Marine Corps. United States Navy. United States Air Force. United States Coast Guard. Now, Mr. Mayor, would you please come forward and place the wreath? And I would like representative of the American Legion and Auxiliary, as well as the VFW and VFW Auxiliary, to form up over here on the sidewalk to lay your wreath. Mr. Mayor. American Legion, please place your wreath, accompanied by the American Legion Auxiliary. And now the VFW, accompanied by the VFW Auxiliary. The Now organization will place theirs. I want to let everyone know in the audience that the cannon's going to fire 2 rounds, so if you got little ones, we don't want them to get scared, or for you to get scared. 2nd Kentucky, fire a 2-round volley. It takes a little while to reload. We have to honor 1 volley for the north, 1 volley for the south. Woke them up. At this time, I'd like to invite the representative from the Daughters of the American Revolution to submit a poem. I believe you want me to read it? Okay. Janet, nice to meet you.
I wanted to say something.
Okay, go right ahead.
I'm Janet McKnightis. I represent the National Society Daughters of the American Revolution. And I'm here today. This is why I'm not reading it. I come from an ancestry that fought in the Revolutionary War. My great-great-grandfather fought in the Civil War from the Illinois Regiment, and my 3 sons are U.S. Marine snipers. My youngest son has been wounded in Afghanistan. I very proudly represent this country and its military and their sacrifices.
U.S. President Abraham Lincoln, Soldiers National Cemetery in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, November 19, 1863. 77 years ago, our forefathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Now we are engaged in a great civil war, testing whether that nation or any nation so conceived and so dedicated can long endure. We are met on a great battlefield of that war. We have come to dedicate a portion of that field as a final resting place for those who have given their lives that nation might live. It is altogether fitting and proper that we should do this. But in a large sense, we cannot dedicate, we cannot consecrate, we cannot hallow this ground. The brave men, living and dead, who struggled here have consecrated it far above our poor power to add or detract. The world will little note nor long remember what we say here, but it can never forget what they did here. It is for us, the living, rather to be dedicated here to the unselfish work which they who fought here have thus far so nobly advanced. Dedicated to the great task remaining before us. It is rather for us to be here dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that from these honored dead we take increased devotion to that cause for which they gave the last full measure of devotion, that we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. A Nation's Strength by Ralph Waldo Emerson. What makes a nation's pillar high and its foundation strong? What makes its might to defy the foes that round it throng? It is not gold. Its kingdoms grand go down in battle shock. Its shafts are laid on sinking sand, not on abiding rock. Is it the sword? Ask the red dust of empires passed away. The blood has turned their stone to rust, their glory to decay. And is it pride? That's bright crown has seemed to nations sweet. But God has struck its luster down in ashes at his feet. Not gold, but only men can make a people great and strong. Men who are truth and honor's sake stand fast and suffer long. Brave men who work while others sleep, who dare while others fly. They build a nation's pillars deep and lift them to the sky. Major Walker will have the benediction, then after that we'll have a musical selection, then after that we'll retire the colors, and after that we'll go eat at the Legion.
Food. I've been issued an order from my dear friend Commander Shanklin, and of course good Marines always obey orders, that I am to make the benediction very short. Did you see he was giving me arm and hand signals? So of course I will do that. So I'll ask you all to bow your heads for a short benediction. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace, both now and ever and unto the ages of ages. May God always bless Elmhurst. Amen. Thank you.
Yeah, Marines do follow orders. That's great. That has got to be the shortest benediction he's ever done, right? Absolutely. And now, Miss Annie Quigley.
The selection is by the request of one whose tireless efforts for Memorial Day events in Elmhurst are second to none, Mr. Ralph Pachanio. I have come to believe that peace among nations, and therefore freedom of all peoples, is the most deeply cherished dream of every American soldier. Last night I had the strangest dream I'd ever dreamed before. I dreamed the world had all agreed to put an end to war. I dreamed I saw a mighty empty room, and the room was filled with men, and the papers they were signing said they'd never fight again. And when the paper was all signed and 1,000,000 copies made, they all joined hands and bowed their heads, and grateful prayers were prayed. And the people in the streets below were dancing round and round, while swords and guns and uniforms were scattered on the ground. Last night I had the strangest dream I'd ever dreamed before. I dreamed the world had all agreed to put an end to war.
Sergeant Gabick, take your post. While he's getting in position to retire the colors, I'd like everyone to know that lunch will be served at the American Legion Post at the intersection of Butterfield and Spring Road, right after this ceremony. Retire the colors. Please stand. Please be seated. This really concludes our service. Now, Brian is going to march us out of here.
Why join Quartz Plus Health and Fitness Center? Join Quartz Plus for your health.
What I like doing here at Quartz Plus is the group exercise classes and the variety of classes that you have, from the step to the aerobic and a lot of like Tai Chi type of things. And
here at Quartz Plus, I like to rock climb because I like challenging myself.
Join Quartz Plus for your family.
Kids Plus area is great. The
The people that work here are wonderful, and you know, a lot of them have been here for as long as I've been here, which has been really nice for the kids. They come and they see familiar faces, especially when they were young.
Classes that I've taken here are youth cardio, and I like that because it was challenging and it helped me with my other sports that I play.
Join Quartz Plus for your convenience.
Quartz Plus is a very convenient place to come to. It's easy to get to. It's got great parking. It's centrally located. It's near the expressway. It's got a lot of activities that you can go to. The classes are always changing. There's always a different class you can try. There's something new. And if there's something you really like, you can really get into it for an extended period of time.
Number one reason is health. Very important that I stay in shape, and I think energy creates energy. And you know, it's. I'm looking at the class behind me. I wish I was in there right now. You know, it's a good workout.
Quartz Plus is a community facility offering quality health and fitness amenities, such as a 75-foot indoor pool, 6 indoor tennis courts, an indoor climbing wall, an indoor jogging track, a free weight training area, advanced exercise equipment, and many other state-of-the-art features. Call 630-833-5064 for your tour of the facility and for membership information. Quartz Plus Health and Fitness Center. The members speak for themselves.
This is no place for the Tour de France, and this is no place for NASCAR. But in everyday life, bicycles and cars do share the road. I'm Robbie Ventura. I spent 4 years riding with Lance Armstrong and the U.S. Postal Team. I've coached hundreds of cyclists who compete around the world, and I can tell you it's no accident when everyone gets where they're going safely. The key is to know the rules of the road. For example, cyclists have a right to be on the street, and people in cars have an obligation to watch out for them. Often the road is the only way for people on bikes to get where they're going, and some sidewalks are even more dangerous than streets. Finally, some communities allow kids to ride on the sidewalk, but it may be illegal for adults. When cyclists are on the road, they're supposed to obey all traffic laws, signs, and signals, always riding in the same direction as cars in their lane. Some cyclists feel safer riding against traffic where they can see oncoming cars, but that's actually more dangerous because cars have less time to slow down and go around them. People on bikes should also ride predictably and signal so drivers know what they're planning to do. Cyclists turning right may do this, or this. Here's what a left turn signal looks like, and if you see this, expect the cyclist to slow down or stop. Whether you're riding or driving, it's also important to know your place on the road. Bicycles should stay as far to the right as practical, but they may have to ride farther out into the lane if there's broken glass, rocks, and other debris by the curb or on the shoulder. People on bikes also ride farther into the lane on narrow roads to keep cars from passing too closely, or they might be moving across the lane getting ready to turn left. Like drivers, cyclists are supposed to use designated lanes if they're planning to turn. Whether you're in a car or on a bike, you should also use extra caution in key situations or danger zones. Take passing, for example. When going around a cyclist, a driver should allow at least 3 feet between the vehicle and the bike. More is better, especially for a cyclist going up a hill or on a high-speed road where fast-moving vehicles can generate strong air currents. On a narrow road, you might have to move into the next lane to pass safely, and that can mean waiting a few seconds for oncoming traffic to clear. Be patient. Turning can also put you in a danger zone. Say you're in a car planning to make a right turn, but there's a cyclist to your right or riding behind you. People are often tempted to speed up, get ahead of the bike, and make that turn, but doing so could cause a crash. If there's any chance you're going to block the path of a bike on the road or a parallel bike path, wait for the cyclist to pass before turning. How much time do you lose by slowing down and playing it safe? As you can see, it's only a matter of seconds. And when you're turning or changing lanes, don't forget about your blind spots. After checking your mirrors, always look quickly to your right or left. Another major risk is a car turning left into the path of an oncoming bike. In these situations, drivers may misjudge the speed and distance of cyclists or fail to see them. Bikes are smaller than cars, so they're harder to see and may appear further away. But some could be moving pretty fast, 20 or even 30 miles an hour. And if the cyclist is going straight, he has the right of way. Bike paths or sidewalks that run parallel with the road may seem like fairly safe places, but these too can be danger zones. A driver making a turn might be focused on the road and not see a cyclist traveling on the sidewalk or path until the last minute. Someone riding on a sidewalk or path in the opposite direction of a driver is even less likely to be seen. So in these situations, drivers should be extra careful, checking the sidewalk or path for cyclists or pedestrians. People on bikes should ride defensively. Watch for motorists making a turn and be prepared to stop. Another danger zone involves driveways or alleys. Drivers and cyclists often cruise right into the street, pulling out of a driveway or alley, looking for cars in the middle of the lane, but not for bikes or pedestrians on the sidewalk or on the right side of the road. And if you're only looking to your left for oncoming traffic, you won't see a cyclist coming from the other direction. You have to remind yourself every time to take it slow and look both ways before entering the road. Cyclists riding along parked cars are in another danger zone because drivers and passengers sometimes open doors. This happens so often, cyclists actually have a name for it, being doored. So if you're getting out of a parked car, always look over your shoulder to make sure no cyclists are coming. And cyclists may want to ride farther into the lane. One final danger zone is right behind the wheel or handlebars.
You're blocking the road. I'm trying to get by here.
You have to give me room. You have to wait a second.
When you're on the road, conflicts can occur, and it's tempting to express yourself. But getting angry, hostile, or abusive doesn't help. And it can take you to places you never intended to go. Aggressive behavior can lead to criminal charges. Revving your engine, blasting your horn, yelling, or pounding on a vehicle can result in legal action against drivers or cyclists. The best advice for anyone on the road is to stay calm, exercise caution, be patient and courteous. Share the road, show respect, and always be on the alert, especially in those danger zones. When passing a cyclist, leave at least 3 feet between car and bicycle. More is better. Be patient when passing and when turning right. If there's any chance you'll block a bike in your lane, on the sidewalk or side path, slow down and wait for the cyclist to pass. If you're making a left, remember that oncoming cars and bikes have the right-of-way, and that bicycles may be moving faster than you think. Don't forget to check your blind spots and to signal whenever passing or turning. Be especially careful when leaving a driveway or alley. Check the street and sidewalk in both directions for cars, cyclists, and pedestrians. And look for bikes before getting out of a car that's parked in the street. Finally, keep in mind that you're not in a race where NASCAR meets the Tour de France. When you share the road, the reward is everyone gets where they're going safely.